Welcome to the Unicorn Clothing video series. Today's video is going to be about how to put on a courtier style bodice by yourself. So as you can see, the courtier style bodice, it does lace up the front and in the back. At the front and the back there are points of boning on either point. And along the sides, it has a curved seam. This seam is designed to flare out with your hips and sit a little bit lower on your side. Some bodices come right into your natural waistline, but this one is designed, again, to cut a little bit lower on your hips. It sits straight across, and it has another point of adjustability at the front and back of the shoulder strap. So, the first time you put your bodice on, you put it on just like a vest. Tug on your sleeves a little if you have to. Just to eyeball it for size, you can hold it snugly against your body. You should not be able to completely close it. That means the bodice is too big and there's not really any room to tighten it down. Similarly, if it's having trouble even coming around the edge of your body, it might mean it's a little too small and you could consider going up a size. If you're pretty close within range, but you just think you want it a little bit different, you can adjust the back lacing. You can tighten it down as much as an inch or two less than the width of the fabric, and it can expand up to about 2 inches wider than the fabric. So you do have really quite a bit of adjustability there. If you're looking for alternative ways to lace your bodice, we do have a video on that, and that can really help with specific sizing needs. So to start with, you're going to take your string, and when I leave my bodices stored, I like to tie my string in a slip knot through a grommet hole so that they don't escape. And I'll just show you what that is you would thread the string through one grommet and tie it around itself like this. So it has a little loop. It's not going to go anywhere, but it's not going to get stuck in a knot either because you just pull on both ends and it comes right out. So historically, bodices would have been laced from the top to the bottom because that was the more modest way of doing things. At Unicorn, we feel that we can get better comfort and better shape out of lacing from the bottom to the top. So that's what we'll be doing today. We're just going to do our standard lacing, and what that is, it's just like a shoe. So you go from the inside of the piece to the outside of the piece, from the bottom to the top. You go inside to out. Because of the longer length of the courtier bodice, it does have a lot of grommets, so bear with me for a minute while I get this started. As you can see, I'm just lacing it really loosely at first. There's going to be plenty of time to tighten things down later, but it's easier to adjust things like your shirts and skirts when the bodice is still a little bit loose. So we're just going to keep going like this until we run out of string for our first tie off. Then we'll adjust and keep going. It will take you a few rounds of adjustment before you get everything in its place, and that's all right. I don't know if you can see, I've got tapestry on both sides of this bodice. That's a pretty unique request. All of our bodices are reversible, which is pretty great in terms of mixing and matching outfits. But for the most part, we do a solid interior and either a solid exterior or a tapestry or a lace or a velvet. And that can be a nice combination. Not too busy, but very versatile. So as you can see, I'm pretty much out of string here, but I'm not out of grommets. Come on. So if I ever get this through, there we go. I'm just going to tie it off loosely like this and adjust. And so to adjust the shirt, you're going to tug gently from the bottom, and that way it doesn't bunch up in the center here. So I just tug that down as low as I think I'll want it to go. Don't forget to tug the back and make it even. If you want the sleeves off the shoulders, you can tug those down now as well. All right. And then everything's in place. You can go ahead and tighten it. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab the ends of the X's and pull them out like this. I like to keep the tension on my pinky fingers And then go in with my index finger and my thumb on the next row up. And as I'm pulling those rows, I release the first row with my pinkies, and that lets me maintain the tension and get a lot of slack out. So we're just going to do this for the rest of these rows. Fantastic. And then you can see I have a lot of slack. Now I'm just going to keep going, again loosely, lacing up the top, trying to finish out all of these grommets. Alrighty, and after you've laced up the bodice completely like this, but before you tighten it down for the last tighten, you're going to fluff. What fluffing is first we check our shirts again and make sure everything is still where we want it to be. And then you decide how you want the curls to be. If you want a more modest look, this is where you'd stop. It's lacing the bodice up at this point is going to give you a lot of support, and but you're not spilling out. How do I say these things nicely? And that's going to be great. If you want a little wenchier look, you're going for a pirate queen or something a little more risque, you can fluff the girls at this point. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to lean over and shimmy them forward a little bit. And you're going to take your opposing hand and you're going to lift them up into the center. And just kind of put them exactly where you want them to be. That's then when you feel like you're ready, that's when you can go through and tighten down that last time. So we're going to go ahead and tighten again. So as you can see, my bodice doesn't quite completely close. And like I said, that's okay. Up to about 2 inches of separation between the ends of the bodice is completely acceptable. I'm going to tie a final bow here. A lot of women feel that because this bodice does not have that much boning, it's only 4 pieces, it's a much comfortable, much easier to wear bodice. It's great if you have to work in them or sing in them or do a lot of moving around in them. This might be the bodice for you. Our boning is an orthopedic steel, and so what that means is we get them in pre-cut lengths, specifically measured for the bodices, and they are cut with rounded edges and then coated in plastic. So they are steel, they're very strong, very durable, very supportive, but because of those rounded edges, they're not going to be sharp and they're not going to punch through and rip your fabric unnecessarily. So there you go. That's how you put on a courtier bodice. I hope this tutorial has helped. If you'd like to check out what kind of bodices we do have, you should visit us online at unicornclothing.com or check us out on Facebook anytime at facebook.com/unicornclothing.